13th of November. What have you got for us? Okay. So this quintile to Venus at 1:43 a.m. This is really trying to find some kind of balance in a relationship, right? Now, we have been working through that, right? Because if you remember the energy from the last day, we had this kind of, this. Here we go. This sun squaring the moon, right? Transforming something, some kind of secretive space transforming, right? We've had some stuff come up. We've got Mercury retrograding. It's currently doing it at 6 degrees. So it's been very analytical. And we kind of overcome something here, right? We've overcome this 11:11. We've overcome some part of the childhood wound, right? And so we move into this day here, really having to now put some stuff in order when it comes to relationships, when it comes to how we speak up about all of our emotions in relationships. And it's really like asking us to like find your I am confidence, but understand like that, you know, people in relationships need to kind of make a compromise as well, right? Like, you can't just have it your way the whole time. Like, why are you in a relationship if that's the way, right? And you can't just make sure it's in somebody else's way the whole time, because that's not the point of a relationship either, okay? So this is really finding your I am, right? 25 degrees, Aries degree, and then the balance, the you are, right, component of the relationship, right? Libra, 7 degrees. So confidence versus possession, right? Creativity versus sexual creativity, okay? Like personal expression of creativity and sexual expression of creativity. Something needs to be understood. Something needs to be organized. Something needs to be sorted out. And it really is a nice aspect to kind of come to this realization that, like, the reason that the relationship works is because both of you put your energy into it, right? Not because somebody's in charge. So 1:49 a.m. semi-sextile to Jupiter, who is retrograding. Okay, so like, what do you need to look at that you've been kind of doing over the last, since June, right? Since June, your concept, your confidence, how you express yourself within your family space has kind of shifted a little bit. We've been looking at different things. We've been understanding family spaces in a different way. We've been understanding our need for security, our need for, you know, security within the home. We've been understanding that in a different way. Okay. So this energy, this semi-sextile, it wants you to kind of stay open-minded as we roll through, right? So let's stay open-minded to the concept of family, to the concept of expressing ourselves in family. Let's stay open-minded to that. And then let's see what kind of compromise energy needs to kind of show up, right? What kind of, what's something that needs to shift or that needs a decision to be made, right? Where are we feeling a little bit of tension, right, when it comes to the moon in Leo and Saturn in Pisces? Okay, so where is your rule structure not going with the flow where it should be? Where is your ego running the show and not your confidence? Where are you worried about perfection and like the perfection of your emotions when you shouldn't? Where have you not put boundaries because you want people to like you? All of those sorts of things, okay? And then 2:53 a.m. this square to Lilith. All right. So this is going to be a moment of friction. This is going to be some kind of obstacle getting in your fucking way, right? 2:53 a.m. in Melbourne. So, you know, we're sleeping. But you might not be sleeping under this. You might not be. And this pulls in that Aries energy, right? I am 25 degrees. So who are you? Who are you, right? And you know, a bit of a conflict of interest with the Leo Scorpio, because Leo wants people to like it. Leo, ruled by the sun, you know, lives in the sun, is the light. Scorpio is darkness, right? Ruled by Pluto and Mars. And, you know, doesn't really want people around it. Doesn't give a fuck, right? Lilith, dark feminine energy. Leo, quite masculine, right? So we've got like the dark feminine energy, Lilith. We've got Scorpio, which is actually a masculine water sign. Then we've got the moon, feminine. And then we've got Leo, masculine, ruled by the sun, right? So technically we've got the sun, we've got the moon, we've got Neptune twice. Sorry, we've got Lilith. I've skipped ahead. And then we've got Pluto and Mars. Okay, so there's like big fucking fiery energy here, right? It's like the masculine and the feminine having a fight. But it's really the feminine, the dark feminine energy, recognizing that if it taps into its masculine, if it uses the motivation and the fire and the anger and the sexual desires of the masculine, it can really move forward and feel that change and grow through guilt and shame and the rejected parts of the dark feminine energy that involve our sexuality. We can really use the power of the masculine energy, the power of Leo, the power of the sun. We can really use those two things and they can work together. Okay, but there is likely to be some kind of obstacle that gets in your way in order for you to learn that fucking lesson. Okay, so then we get to this compromise again, of course, 29 fucking degrees. And yeah, let it go, right? Like all of these moons, once they get 29 degrees, they are going to hit this Neptune. And they're going to be asking you to let go of whatever component that moon energy needs you to let go of from the past, right? So 29 degrees of Leo, crisis energy of Leo, big fucking Leo energy, right? Leo upon Leo energy. And of course, Leo is ruled by the sun and the sun is in Scorpio. So what have you learned from the ancestors, from your family past, from the generations before you? What have you learned about confidence and ego? What have you learned about how you show up? What have you learned about your creative personal expression and how you enjoy life? And does that belong to you? Do those thoughts belong to you? Do those wants belong to you? Because they probably, not all of them, but a lot of them don't belong to you. And you've been living by that fucking rule. Then this baby, okay? Now, Sagittarius energy is especially interesting, right? Because it's ruled by Jupiter, and like Jupiter is going to be retrograde the whole of Sagittarius season. So Mercury retrograding in Sag, okay, 6 degrees. So we're being analytical. We're like looking back through some stuff, right? And then we have got the Mars also at 6 degrees. So we're being a bit habitual about how we're moving. Now, these two things working together very nicely, right? Working together really fucking nicely, right? So Mercury being the mind, being communication, right? But it's going backwards. Mars being motivation, masculine energy, rage, sex, okay? How do these two things work together? How can we merge, right? So this is where we want to use the motivation and this analytical 6 degree Sagittarius of the Mars sign. And we're going to use that to do this retrospect, right? The retrograde, the revision, the looking back, the understanding words that were said. And this, again, this is a truth questioning, right? The Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is questioning fucking truth, okay? So then we get to this square to Uranus, okay? These are big energies, right? Mercury conjunct Mars and then the moon squaring Uranus. They're big energies, huge energies, okay? This square to Uranus, you're running late. Okay, I'm already telling you now, you're running late. Definitely. Someone's going to get in your way. Someone's going to have a fucking car accident. Mercury retrogrades are fucking prime for that shit, right? Especially if you're in Melbourne, you're going over the West Gate. Mate, you late. You definitely late. So keep that in mind. Leave early, right? Or tell work that you're starting at midday. But this is a Mercury retrograde conjuncting Mars. So it's going to take longer than you think, right? Then this is a moon squaring Mars. So you're going to get stuck, okay? You're going to get stuck. Now, this moon squaring Uranus, what this one is, it's bringing that like kind of crisis-y energy of like, what did you learn? Okay. But this time we're dealing with the Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. So over the last 8 years, you've learned something about abundance, about money, about finances, about material wealth, right? Material belonging. Now, the last 8 years, you've either learned something or relearned something, or you had heaps and then it got taken away. Or you've never had heaps and then you've kind of come to the terms with like, that's just kind of who you are, right? Or there's been some kind of uprising up, some kind of fucking shift in your material possessions, in your money, right? So this square is now saying like, okay, well, let's take this new confidence of this, like who we are, and let's go and look back at this shit and let's see what it is that we might have missed. Let's see where we can make a change, right? And Leo is very much creative energy, right? It's very linked to the inner child. It's very linked to enjoying life and pleasure and, you know, personal expression through creativity, okay? And that's where it gets a lot of its reward from. Now, obviously, you know, a shonky Leo is very stuck in this idea of money and needing it and thinking they don't have enough to build them the life that they think that someone ruled by the sun should have, right? So this is where, like, this is, oh, Leos, this is going to be a little test. This is going to be some information that you can probably write down for next year when South Node moves into Leo. That wherever it is that you have put priority when it comes to material possessions, that is wrong, okay? And this is where we want to be using the Taurus qualities of beauty, of creativity, of love, not the material world side of it. We want to be using that creative Venus energy, and we want to be using that creative inner child playfulness of Leo. We want that shit to work together. Okay, so this moment of friction, this moment of tension that wants development, it wants you to use those two things. It's also very likely to help people out, especially with that Mercury conjunct Mars, right? So we're going to get this fucking moment of clarity. If you are someone who has been trying to fucking figure out how to make something creative, how to turn that into a job, how to turn that into money, how to turn that into abundance. Okay, but there is going to be a bit of a struggle here because both Leo and Taurus have this, and it's not exactly the same, but they do have a mentality that sort of says, if I work hard, I should be rewarded with golden jewels and praise. Now, that's fine, right? Because Taurus energy, hard work pays off. Of course it does. But where the Leo and the Taurus energies go wrong with that is that they say two things, right? Like one, I've definitely worked hard, so therefore I'm deserving of it. And the only reason I'm doing it is for that reward. And also, I don't want to be doing more than other people. And this is where we have to start changing that mentality. And that conjunction to Mars just beforehand is helpful for that because, you know, we are not, and I heard it on a podcast yesterday, we are not entitled to anything but the experience of the creative project. Whatever comes, it comes. Whatever doesn't, doesn't. That's what we are given, that moment of creativity, right? We're not entitled to anything else, but Leo and Taurus, born entitled. Okay. So then we get to 150, and this is where something has to fucking shift, right? So the moon's going to go void with that square to Uranus. So what a fuck of a day. You're going to be late all day. And what's that, a Thursday? You'll be late all day on the Thursday. So then we need to compromise something, right? So moon will move into Virgo. We're all going to get very fucking analytical. We're going to get very fucking judgy, very self-critical, like we always do. We want to get out the list. We want to check it twice. We want to go down, tick the boxes, do the things. And if we're not doing them, we're pieces of shit, okay? But this is where we want to really be setting these habits when it comes to checking in with ourselves, when it comes with facing your fears, when it comes with taking your power back, right? Like, where are we going to be able to implement small change to continue to do that? Then 9:49, 11:03, bitch, we fighting. We either internally fighting or we fighting with fucking something or someone. Again, this is a frustrating day. Like, you're running late all fucking day. Someone's getting on your nerves all fucking day. Okay? Someone is pissing you off all day, or something is pissing you off all day. So we get to this square to Mercury and someone gonna run their fucking mouth off. Definitely. Because this is very self-critical, right? Moon, very self-critical. 5 degrees though, Leo degrees. So we might be spitting that criticism at somebody else. And Mercury at Sagittarius, fucking blunt as shit and does not care what it says, does not care if it hurts your feelings. The truth is the truth. Be careful what you say. This is one of those moments during the Mercury retrograde where all of the astrologers have been saying, watch your fucking mouth. Okay? Be careful of the words that come out of your mouth. You will regret them. You will regret them. If there is something that needs to be said and you take a second and you think, a month from now, might I regret that? Don't fucking say it. Don't say it. Okay. And then, I mean, heavily kicking off with that square to Mars, right? So this first one happening at 5 degrees, there's a bit of a playfulness to it, right? Like, because it's a Leo degree. So it's a fight, but it's like, and Sagittarius is optimistic, even though it's blunt as fuck as a Mercury. There's like a little bit of a playfulness to that kind of battle of words, right? But a square to Mars at 6 degrees, there's no fucking playfulness there. Okay. Because Mars is rage. So when it's got Sagittarius behind it, trust me, as someone with a Mars in Sagittarius, you do not want to start that fire. And then 6 degrees is the Virgo degree. And if you've ever had a battle with a fucking Virgo, that is an analytical bitch that will rip your shit apart. Not like with weapons, but with telling you exactly how things are, exactly how you are, pointing out exactly what your flaws are, brutally, with that Sagittarius energy. So, yeah, be very careful you're not using that energy on yourself. Be very careful you are not saying something that you do not want to be saying. This is a fucking massive ego challenge day. People in authority, older people who are logical, people who are fire-based are going to be having a really fucking hard time. They are very likely to be poking bears all fucking day. Stay home if you can. Work from home. This is not a work in an office kind of day. Okay, so big battle energies. What's the 14th got for us? Okay, we're letting go. Okay, so we're starting off the 14th a bit better. Okay, but this here, that is a nightmare. That is a nightmare. Get your kids in bed. I would say get your kids in bed like here. That's not bedtime. Get your kids in bed before 9 o'clock, okay? Because that shit's going to kick off. And if there's one thing that kids can be, it's fucking hurtful, right? Also, don't be too mean to yourself. Anything that comes up is there for you to hear and heal, not to hold on to and make it part of who you are as a person, okay? So if you need my help with this energy, you know where to find me. And if you don't know where to find me, you could probably just put a comment on this and I'll come find you. Oh, that's a bit creepy, isn't it? I'll find you. Stay weird.